2, 1, get 'em!
This week's episode is brought to you by Salt Creek, some of the best steel and TSS on the market, and Kicks Industries. The Smoke Series is my favorite. Welcome back to this week's YouTube Live and the podcast. My name is RD. I got a special guest on tonight. His name is Chris. Welcome, Chris. And as that's being said, we got two other extra guests that popped up on the deer camera there that we were talking about. I told him right before I came on, I said, I know they're there because I saw them, and there they are. If you look closely, one of them is definitely a buck. So it's definitely got some velvet on there for sure, but I believe them are last year's probably babies. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm glad that they stayed around for y'all to see them on live. You can tell they definitely eating them mineral blocks there. But that's not who we came to talk to tonight. That is definitely not who we came to talk to. I have to say, if we're streaming tonight, and I already see people joining, and I greatly appreciate every single person that's joined so far. The one thing that I want to talk about first is this right here. So this is the current situation that we are in. I am in the Charlotte area, so if you're watching the stream and it just cuts off, I lost power or internet. Chris is out in Oklahoma, and let me check on Oklahoma out there. It don't look like much is going on out there with you.
No, just a little sunny and a little windy.
Yeah, you could tell he's an hour behind. He's still got some sunlight in them shades. But if tonight, for sure, if you are in the Southeast, I want to stress, make sure you got some kind of notification turned on tonight, because there's already been tornadoes that have touched down in all of the Southeast. You can see here Alabama, Missouri, Mississippi, coming into Georgia. A lot of bad weather, and it's just getting started, and it's coming this way. So be prepared. Definitely get your stuff prepared tonight, because I don't want to lose the 2 or 3 subscribers that I got. So want to make sure we keep y'all around. But Chris, I appreciate you joining. We thought we was going to have to postpone it because last week, about 9 days ago, it was turkey season here in South Carolina, and I went and got bit by a tick, and the past 2 or 3 nights I've woke up with sweats and a rash, and I finally went to a doctor, and they put me on some pretty high antibiotics, and she did not say it was Lyme disease, and it was too far to test for that, and but she put me on the highest dose. So I'm on day 2. My rash is gone, and the redness around the tick bite is gone down. So I feel 1,000 times better, and I'm glad, because I didn't want to miss interviewing Chris tonight. So let's start with Chris. Chris, where are you from?
Originally from North Carolina. I grew up there. Um, that's where all my hunting adventures started. And then I'm fixing to be 39 years old. So back in 2007, I moved out to Oklahoma. Some people call me crazy because I moved away from my family farm. Uh, but I was the youngest one on the totem pole there. And I seen an opportunity to move out here to Oklahoma with my uncle. He's worked in the oil and gas industry for a long time and just retired a couple years back, and took the opportunity to move here, and here I am, Oklahoma bound now since 2007. So it's crazy it's been that long already.
What part of North Carolina were you?
I grew up in the northeastern part. It's about 2.5 hours east of Raleigh, a little bitty town called Como, North Carolina.
I got you. That's up near foothills or the mountains of North Carolina.
No, it actually been. We were only like a little over an hour from the coast, and
Oh,
then
that's the other
like
way.
then about 5 minutes from the Virginia state line. So was very up there in the northeastern corner.
So that's been some
Yes, sir.
good waterfowl and swan hunting areas.
Waterfowl was phenomenal back when I used to live there. I think, I think it's still pretty good there now, but I know that's the one thing I do miss about there is I had a lot of access to a lot of good places to waterfowl hunt, and I do out here, but it's a whole different hunting game out here.
That's right. And we talked earlier. I've been to Oklahoma. Me and Tony, we went out to Oklahoma and hunted waterfowl out there, and then it's definitely different.
Very different, very different.
How far are you from Oklahoma City?
I am just about hour and 20 minutes west of Oklahoma City. If you take basically take I-40 straight west, and then I'm about 20 minutes south, south of Clinton, Oklahoma.
So I don't remember all the counties we went through, but I know we went through the interstate, and I think it was after Oklahoma City. We were going on flat ground, and then we ended up in the mountains of Oklahoma, and signs that
Yep.
said "Watch
Okay.
for bears."
Yeah, the Bears would have been there in eastern Oklahoma.
Okay.
And then it changes. Like, I mean, it's crazy how much the terrain changes in Oklahoma. You get eastern Oklahoma, you got a lot of mountainous terrain,
Mhm.
and then you start coming past Oklahoma City, you start getting into flat terrain. But then just south of me here, they have the Wichita Mountains. Um, they call it the mountains. I mean, it's mountains, but it's not mountains. It's just big hills, in my opinion. But
Yeah, that
um,
tripped me out that day. I saw "Watch for bear" signs in Oklahoma. That was not on my. I thought I would check off seeing.
right?
So you move out there, and now you're working on. I guess it would be a project or a hobby that you're doing, and you got Midwest Outdoor Dreams, and I know it's on Facebook
Sure.
and YouTube. But so, what is Midwest Outdoors Dreams?
I started this back in 2019 is when I created the name. Like I said, I've had the passion for the outdoors my whole life, and it's always been, I grew up watching, the Drury guys, the Real Tree guys, Michael Waddell, Lee and Tiffany, I grew up watching those guys, and all of them have been idols to me as growing up, and I've always wanted something similar to what they have, and YouTube is getting me. I feel like YouTube is pretty much. I think YouTube's where a lot of these guys are going anymore.
Mhm.
You so many platforms out there for hunting shows to be on. I just wanted to be able to share my passion with everybody around me and people I take hunting. And so it all originated with that, me wanting to share my passion, through social media and share my family hunts. And then I've always wanted to be able to give back to the veterans. Wasn't able to serve. What I say, I wasn't able to serve when I was younger, and I've had several family members that served, and I wanted to be able to give back to those guys. So that's where I kind of branded Midwest Outdoor Dreams around is to be able to give back to those guys and take some guys hunting every year. And eventually from that, I branched off, doing youth hunts, trying to get youth involved that don't have the opportunity to get out in the outdoors. And so that's just kind of my story behind the Midwest Outdoor Dreams, and just it grew from there. I mean, it started out small. I back in 2020, yeah, 2020, I took my first veteran on a hunt, and it just evolved from there. I mean, I basically use it as a platform to share everybody's experiences and memories, and try to grow it.
What y'all typically hunting out there?
Most time just whitetail, and then turkey, and then of course we'll do coyote hunts, and I've got a couple guys on the team now. One of them's actually just got his guiding license for fishing, so I think we're going to start evolving that. Taking some veterans on some fishing trips.
That's pretty cool. So I know we talked for a couple weeks now, and I was in the YouTube jail for a while. So does everybody's subscribers, because AI caught me trying to facilitate a sale that I wasn't facilitating. But we've been talking that it's turkey season, or well, it was turkey season for us. Our turkey season has now gone by. Um, so I know y'all got a couple more weeks of turkey season, but I tell you what, getting bit by a tick, I didn't gain any. Like, I've been trying, like, I know ticks don't have spider webs, but I've been trying and that ain't doing nothing. And getting bit by a tick sure didn't help calling any turkeys. So I don't know, like, what gift I got from this tick bite. Like, I don't know. I'm still waiting. Maybe
And
something will show other than the nighttime sweats. That's the only thing I've gained right now. I have to rotate my pillow through halfway through the night because it's soaking wet.
that's crazy.
So how's y'all's turkey season going?
Man, they moved our season back. We used to start around April 6th, and they decided to move the season back. I really haven't. I know they were trying to help the turkey numbers a little bit, with move. I mean, don't hold me for granted for this. I know this is part of the reason. I haven't really heard the 100% why they did, and some of my subscribers or somebody listening in might know
Mm,
more, but I know they moved it back, so it started April 16th, which youth season was the weekend before that. That put the birds already in henned up mode. So it
mm.
was definitely a challenge, in my opinion. But I mean, I see a lot of birds getting harvested, and props to those guys putting in the work, getting that bird down. But we had a good, successful season. I say opening, well, I'll take it back. Opening youth weekend, we took one of my boys, and after his first bird on that Saturday, we chased him hard. Um, so many times we were close encounters, couldn't get him a shot, and then turned around, went back next morning, Sunday morning, and hunted the same birds. And it's like I didn't even hunt them, like in what they were supposed to do. The bird came into my calling, and we had him killed within the first hour. And then
That's
the same thing following weekend, opening weekend, I took two guys that never killed a bird. And Saturday we went, and opening morning we had the first bird killed within 45 minutes. And Sunday I took that second guy out, and we worked our complete butt off to try to
really.
kill the bird, and it got it done, but it took about 4 or 5 hours that day. So I mean that's why they say it's hunting.
That's right. I saw a lot of hens this year, and I pulled up y'all's Oklahoma harvest report. So y'all use the same looks like the same company as South Carolina. So when did you say you start day was?
April 16th.
All right, so we'll start April the 1st till today. We're gonna select all y'all's counties because I have no idea any of them.
A lot of them.
Let's see, turkeys. So far total, ooh, per county, man, that's not a whole lot. Oh, page 4. So it says 36 on page 4, on page 1 of 4. Let's see, 980. Let's go to page 4. All right, page 4 grand total is 980 turkeys right now in y'all state. That is that's not a lot of turkeys.
That's what I say. I
Mm,
mean, I feel like down on the, and I mean, I feel like that's what they were going for, is
mm,
we lost the birds a few years back in a big freeze and a disease that came through.
mm,
And I mean, it's rough. I mean, and that's when, because we used to have a two bird limit, and then a
mm.
couple years back, all this happened, they decreased that limit to a one bird limit.
Right. And here it shows, archery. Old lucky guy right here, he got one with a bow, but most of them are with the shotguns. And good thing. Nobody reported a hen. I wouldn't think anybody would report that, but there was no hens reported right now, but
I've never,
980. Oh, no, I was
never
wrong.
checked
Three. There was three.
the hen.
Three hens. I was looking
I
in
never
the
probably.
I was looking into archery, but yeah, there was three. Since we're
I've seen
here,
quite a few beauty hens this year.
so what you said they moved it back? Would April 2025 still cover the date, or do I need to change from last year? What was last year's?
Um, Last year's, I believe this is the first year they moved it up. Last year,
Okay.
I think I remember April
All
6th.
right.
Yeah,
So let's go 2025 here. Let's see what last year's was.
I'm interested in the difference.
Page 2, 4, 978. So
Well,
I think that
pretty
was a
close
couple
then.
more birds. Yeah. And so far that's been one more hen. So huh?
Well,
And
like I
if
say, I mean, there's a lot more bird numbers this year
yeah,
than it was compared to some, as far as, live birds, seeing them.
right. So I pulled up ours so far. Our season's ended except for youth uh, day, which is coming up this weekend, uh, which is 10,102 birds. Uh,
Yee!
yeah, but you look at Missouri and stuff like that, and their numbers are way more.
Crazy. That's a
So
lot of birds.
that's 2,000 more birds than last year. So yeah, they changed ours too. Um, they changed the hours where you couldn't shoot no Jake. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so they try. But yeah,
What are the,
man,
what do you consider a Jake like? I mean, not a full fan. I mean, I know what a
yeah,
Jake, but I'm just,
full
because I've seen
fan,
some birds. Okay, full fan.
full fan, and a beard that's 5 or 6 inches. I can't remember, and a spur, or some kind of length, but it's mostly the beard and the full fins, feathers.
Yeah,
So
because I've had a few here that, man, if you wouldn't have seen their fan, looked at
mhm,
their beard and you'd be like, well, that's a long beard. As soon as he fanned out, he had an uneven fan. I'm like, whoa, that's a
yeah,
long beard for a Jake.
yeah, and if you were just going off of beard alone, I mean, they lose beards, they beard rot,
Oh yeah,
you know, just by looking at the beard don't tell you anything either. So I think it's kind of like a gray line, but you better make sure it's not a Jake's pretty much. But looked
right.
like our numbers went up. I think last week I reported, I think I selected 2 years last year by accident, but um, looks like South Carolina's numbers are up. But North Carolina's numbers, I looked at them last week too, and North Carolina's pretty awesome on their numbers.
Yeah, I follow a lot of people out that way. I've seen a lot of birds harvested,
Hmm.
and know a lot of people.
Yeah, what's
But
interesting is if you board or any of your followers, especially around where you at, just take them numbers off of y'all's website and then drop them into Chat GPT and say, what's my chances of getting a bird on game management versus private? And the statistics is usually unbelievable. So
but yeah,
I know you lived in
yeah,
North Carolina and now you moved out to Oklahoma. What is the difference in hunting whitetails out there? Like, obviously the terrain is
well,
different, but
yeah, it's
what characteristic would you say is the same, and what characteristics is probably totally different?
um as far as difference is movement, definitely as far as their concealment. Um, Back home in North Carolina, you have a lot of tall timber and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
deer, well, I say deer have a lot to hide in, but they have a lot to hide in here too once you learn them. Because
Mm-hmm.
when I first moved out here, I'm like, where does a deer even hide? Like I can have a 600-acre farm and have 20 trees on it, but there's a lot of sagebrush, a lot of plum thickets, and those deer, utilize a lot of that. And then of course there's a lot of draws. As far as same characteristics, and I don't even know much about same characteristics because I mean the deer here are much larger. I'm sure I have a buddy on here that's watching. He comes out to hunt with me every year. I call him a buddy. He's pretty much like a brother. Tommy Fowler, I'm talking about you. I know you're watching. He comes out here every year, and he'll even tell you like our does are as big as the bucks back in North Carolina. As far as body size, and as far as same characteristics, I mean, I don't know. Like that'd be hard.
You
Um,
think they're bigger because they're not moving as much, or I mean, like you would think that there would be more to eat here than
oh yeah,
out
and that's
there.
what you would think. You would think the deer body size, it's got to be a genetics thing
It
because
could be.
you go you go up north of here, you go to Kansas, Illinois, up that direction where there's a lot of cornfields, and which are a lot of cornfields in North Carolina. But it's got to be a genetic because you go north of here and you'll get 300-pound plus deer.
Mm.
And I mean, and we're pushing that sometimes, but that's a big body mature deer to get him, pushing that. And I mean, we've killed a few in the past couple of years in the 270, 280 range, but it's got to be a genetic thing because there's just as many crops in North Carolina, South Carolina as it is Kansas and your northern states. So it's just got to be a genetic thing. Um, as far as body size, you go to Texas, which there's not many crops in Texas as far no more than cotton and some peanuts, but Texas deer are so dang small. You put a 160-inch rack on a Texas buck and he looks like a 200-inch buck. And versus you put a 160-inch rack on a buck here and you're questioning whether you're going to shoot that deer or not. You're, you know,
You said
but
peanut fields. We hunted peanut fields in Oklahoma this last year, and I hunted peanut fields in Texas. And I around here in South Carolina, we don't have peanuts, and I never seen jelly rolls, round bales of leftover peanut stuff,
hmm
like the vines and stuff. I'm like, what in the world is that? And they're like, oh, that's peanuts, leftover peanuts, the vines and stuff. I'm like, what in the world is that? Oh, the cows and stuff eat it later. And I'm like, man, you don't see that in
oh
South
yeah,
Carolina.
yeah, it was definitely a learning curve to hunt out here. I mean, like I say, back home, I could go take my self climber and pack in and climb up a tree pretty much anywhere I wanted there. Here, you're either going to be ground blind hunting a lot, which is fine. I've learned to adapt to it very well. Ground blind hunting, box blind hunting. And I mean, we have like our river bottoms. Now you have a lot more selection as far as trees,
Mm,
but don't get me crazy, but they call it river bottoms here. You get in eastern Oklahoma, there's some big rivers, like deep rivers. Like when I grew up, when you talk about a river, we swam in it.
right.
Now over here, they still call some rivers, but we can drive a four-wheeler across it or walk across it, and sometimes there's not even water in it. So to me, that's a creek, but they call it a river here. But our river bottoms has a lot more tree access. So it's just the deer movement is just different from one farm to the next. Um, like I say, their travel areas, a lot of like if you get in these ravines and draws, I mean that deer. You would think some of those deer like to travel those draws more than they would up on the ridge, but I find where a lot of my deer are more on the ridge because, I feel like they're more comfortable. They can see versus that draw. They'll get down in when it's real windy. And 90% of the time in Oklahoma, you're going to have a 15, 20-mile-an-hour wind every day. If it's calm, it's usually a calm before the storm. That's about it.
And that's what happened to us when we were out there in Oklahoma. We walked out that morning, and I just thought it was, dew up in the air.
hmm
But we started going down the road, and I'm like, this is hitting the windshield. It was sandstorm. My shotgun jammed up halfway through the hunt, and I was having to manually racket because I'm like, what? It was a sandstorm. There was
That's
so much
crazy.
sand. Oh, it was that was unreal. And that is one cool thing about hunting different states because people always say, "Oh, them easterns are easy to kill," and then we say the Rios are easy to kill because all you gotta do is find a tree and a Rio will be in it. It's just so much different when you go somewhere to see how people adapt to hunting. What you're doing is different than what I'm doing, and deer here. You just like what my camera's got out there. You just go pour some corn out, they show up, kind of deal. Um,
Yep.
but you go other areas and people don't have that or can't do that.
Oh yeah, and
But it definitely opens
it's
your eyes.
oh yeah, and everybody has their own way, how they kill their deer, and like I say, it was definitely a learner curve. Back home, I banked off of hunting the crops, because I mean we grow peanuts, corn, soybeans, all that, so it was always part of the season they were hitting that peanut field, then towards the end of the season they were hitting the soybean field, so you were kind of chasing them around with the fields, and then out here, I mean we run feeders of course, but I mean not all of our bucks are killed off that feeder. I mean, yeah, some are, but we run food plots because the only thing they really have to eat here during the winter time and late fall is wheat fields. I mean, and they hammer them things. I mean, wherever you find a wheat field, and that sucker's going to be loaded towards the end of the year. I mean, that's where the deer go, and they don't even, they get to the point. I mean, on our farms where we have wheat fields, towards the end of the season, you'll hardly ever see them deer hit the corn feeder. They're,
Really?
I mean, they'll come by it. Um, Maybe for a couple minutes sometimes, but like a lot of my mature bucks, no, you're gonna kill them on that field or in a travel area. Um, a lot of times, I mean, you sit there in a box stand or where you can overwatch because I've got places, I mean, you can sit in one stand and watch 600 acres, or watch for over half a mile long. That's
That's
just how much you
crazy.
can see out. Yeah.
Now you
Um,
won't get that in North Carolina. Now you might in the
well,
eastern part. There's still some farms that's pretty big, but I don't know if you're going to see over a couple miles though.
so as far as scouting and scouting season, I love it because I can go sit on a high point and I can watch a couple farms at one time. But it's just it's crazy. I learned that I mean, yeah, that corn's good, but it's those deer just they choose that wheat over corn. So I mean, I've sit there and watched them for days and never seen them come to that feeder. So usually about the first part of October, right up until muzzleloader season's always the third week of October, and then you get into November, and our rut will usually, and our rifle season is always the weekend before Thanksgiving comes in. Then we have a 2 week rifle season. Um, so usually right there that week before rifle season, that rut usually starts kicking in pretty hard. You'll see a little bit of pre-rut action towards the end, towards muzzleloader, end of muzzleloader, but the main rut usually, I mean, it's almost like clockwork every year that I put it in that second week in November. Um, you want to be hunting pretty hard as far as chasing your mature buck during rut. If you didn't get him, we're pretty we've been pretty lucky early season. You'll have them on a pattern because your mature bucks are coming out of velvet. They're still hitting that corn. They're feeding hard. And we'll feed protein too, pretty much. I feed it all year long, but I just mix it 50-50 with my
Mhm.
corn. But usually we have pretty, I mean, the past 4 or 5 years, I mean, we've taken a pretty, one of our shooter bucks opening day and then a couple of our shooters within that second, third week. But after that, it's the chase is on. I mean, they start pulling off the feeder, they start looking for their territory, and that's when it gets good. I mean, but you'll be driving during the rut, and you'll drive, and this will be this wide open CRP field, and you'll see you'll catch a buck standing out in the middle of the CRP, and there ain't a tree, a bush, for a mile or two, and you're like, where in the heck this deer come from, you know? And it's crazy, just like out here, how these deer move around and how they hide. Um, I don't know. I still don't have an answer for it, you
You
know.
know,
But
you see a lot of people getting video of deer, big bucks laying out in fields like that, just sound asleep.
oh yeah, you know, just and like, how's this deer alive? You know, how's he hiding from poachers?
Yeah,
You know, but
yeah,
and we have
exactly.
a lot of road hunters.
I'm sure. Because you could, like you said earlier, you could see, you could cover so much distance.
And then you get in these rural, you know, out in this countryside. I mean, there's a house maybe a mile here, and then there won't be another house for another few miles. So
Hmm.
it's easy for them to do. But I want to. I mean, I'll give a big shout out to our Oklahoma game wardens. They put in the work, and those guys. I mean, they stop a lot of guys from it. I mean, they once they get one little hint, you know, of somebody's road hunting, they don't usually give up until, you know, they're successful to finding that person. We had
Imagine how many
this
miles they
turkey.
putting on a vehicle.
Oh man, yeah. I know all the counties that I hunt in. I know the game wardens pretty well. Good friends with them, and man, I see the work they put in, and it's definitely much appreciated. They've back to hop back to turkey season. They've stayed pretty busy this turkey season. We had a we actually had a unfortunate incident. Two guys, out of state guys. Some people might have seen it posted on Facebook. Down southwest Oklahoma, two
Hmm.
buddies were out turkey, and you know how a lot of people do that scoot and shoot with the fan and everything. I guess I don't know if one of them was scooting out, you know, out trying to get the fan, you know, had the fan up, and then his buddy was behind him or what, but he ended up shooting his buddy that was out, you know, the decoy, and
That's
he
banned in South Carolina. There's no, we have a no reaper law. And if I'm not
wouldn't be
mistaken, I think they changed. I'd have to go back and look at it. There's something with the tail feathers. I'm not going to say I think they banned tail feathers completely, but I know there was something. I know reaping is 100% against the law, but I thought something changed with the fans or something. There's something with a fan. Maybe it's not even just holding a fan, but I know there's a whole category of that. Man, I'm in. You say you 39. I done passed that mark. I'm too old to be boot scooting across the field. Hey, I got bit by a tick in a blind. Hey, and my big old fat butt try to go across the field. I'll be there gonna got snake bit, tick bite, coyote done come out there and got me. The buzzard be circling. They'd be like, what is that walrus doing out in our field? You know, it wouldn't work out for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody don't try to put a law in effect for that. 'Cause it's not the first time it's happened, and unfortunately, that guy he was in critical condition, but it went a couple days and he ended up passing away. So
Mhm.
it was a pretty sad deal.
Yeah,
And
I
then
mean,
um, we had we had our veteran hunt. Um, well, for 2 weekends I had the veteran hunt. Weekend before last was the start of the veteran hunt, and we got our butts absolutely kicked.
mm,
Megaton Outdoors, the guys, the feeders that I rep, um, they gave us their property for the weekend to take the veteran on his. He's never killed a longbeard. He's killed a Jake before. It wasn't a lack of seeing birds. It was just a lack of they were not wanting to respond. They wouldn't even hardly talk. And I've never had them not talk like that, even first thing in the morning. I mean, you might got a gobble or two, and that was you. And if you can't communicate with them, I mean, you have no you know, we had no visual of them,
mm.
so it was. I don't know where, you know, you don't know which way to go, which way they're going to go. And we chased them for 2 days straight. And I mean, we got close one encounter, and the birds actually, they came off the roost, and they were at a hay pile out in front of us. And we were just sitting there. I wouldn't even hardly talk to them because I was like, they're coming in. I don't want to speak to them much. You know, I'm just going to let them do their thing. we knew where they normally go, so we were in between that and their roost. And every one of them, there was probably about 12 birds on that hay pile, and they all left out and left the two toms and a hen, which I didn't see the hen, but the two toms were still out in front of us because I was over there trying to still run the camera and I was filming the birds leaving, and they walked within 10 steps of us. I'm like, okay, this is it. It's gonna happen. They're gonna follow the rest of these birds out. We're gonna kill them. So I had that. Jacob was his name. I had him get set up. I said, get ready. I said, they'll should follow out. Go follow the birds. Well, I didn't pay attention to this hen that had walked off to our right into the tree row. And of course, she was about 80 yards out. And all of a sudden, I see the tom starting to walk out that same direction. And I'm like, what the heck? And Jacob's like, a hen just walked out over there. And I was like, I did not see it. So one hen out of eight takes both toms clear away from us. I'm like, are you kidding me? Went
I
a
can
totally
believe it.
different direction than I'd seen before.
I mean, I
So,
really think, and I guess it's per body weight, but I really think a turkey can move through the woods a whole lot quieter than any deer, and a deer is quiet.
no doubt.
I mean, a
No, I have no
turkey,
doubt.
man, you can be looking over here, and then you turn, be like, "Damn, where the heck that turkey come from?" Like, I mean, you never heard it. Like, I mean, unless they're talking, man, it is hard to, it's hard to sneak up on them. But we get outsmarted by a bird that doesn't even have a brain the size of a pea.
Right. And then we fast forward to this past weekend, and I invited him back out, and we actually went and hunted some of my farms up north of up here at Butler, Oklahoma. And dude, we had birds talking like crazy. I don't know. I was like, well, it's gonna be a good morning, and had them talking. Of course, they don't come the same way they normally go, but we did have visual of these birds because here,
Mm.
out where we were at, we were up high. We could see the other ridges, and we seen they were going a different way, so we kind of just waited on them, went to make a move on them, because all they do is just circle this one farm.
Right.
They just make a big loop all day long and feed. And so I was like, okay, I know what's they're the loop. I know they're gonna make it. We go set up, and I'll be darned if they didn't turn around and go right back to where they came from. So I was like, let's let them be. We know they're gonna feed this afternoon. I said, so we'll get in between them and we'll get in between their feed and their roost, and we'll set them out. So we went to check a couple other farms, didn't see anything, and we come back out and we spotted the birds again. I said, all right, go ahead and make a move on them. We made a move on them, got in between them and the feed, and lo and behold, it worked. But I say it worked. They didn't decoy, but they were trying to score us about 40 yards, which is still close enough, to kill, and trying to skirt us. And I told them, and it was a perfect money shot for a triple. And I had three of them with me with guns.
Mm.
And I was like, well, I got to time it out. And they timed it out, and boom, and all I seen was three birds fly off, and I'm like, oh no.
That's bad.
Swinging, swinging a miss.
Oh
But
man.
it it was a hard day. I mean, we still worked our butt off to get to where we were, but like I told them, I was like, that's why they call it hunting, not killing. And I said, it's more, I said, I'm here to make the memories, and yeah, them killing a bird would have been good, but
And
they had a good time.
ones like that'll eat you up for to the next season.
Oh, no kidding. And it's like I told them, I said, don't feel bad because there's a couple of my guys that were with me last year. We took a kid that had never killed a bird. We got him to kill a bird that morning, first thing. And I was like, heck, I got a tag, let's go see if I can kill a bird. We're already up here. We got this done quick. We go set up on some birds, and they were right on the ridge across from us. I say ridge, a hill across from us. And there's some good deep ravine in between us, and we had them talking to us. They came down. We couldn't see them no more because of the trees, and we're sitting there, and they're still talking in the bottom down there. And all of a sudden, my buddy's, I'm set up. There's a cedar bush, and I'm sitting next to cedar bush. My buddy's right behind me with the camera, and then the other buddy, the one that killed the turkey, is kind of over to the right. Well, I heard one of them say, "Hey." And then my buddy tapped me on the shoulder. He's like, Bert, right here. So I kind of turned my head and literally like 10 steps, there's a Tom standing here. And I never said a word. He just, like you said, how quietly they come in. And I mean, he is directly behind me. So I was like, I got one move and that's it. So I grab my gun slowly and I just flip around and I shoot mine. He's so close, my wadding past the turkey, almost like shooting I'm guaranteeing my shot never left the wadding before it got to him. And it's almost like trying to shoot a rifle bullet that moving head, and I missed one at 10 steps. And I'm like, and that's what I told those veterans. That's like, don't feel bad. I said, but I promise you, it doesn't leave you. I
No,
said it'll be in the
it
back,
don't leave you.
but I'm like,
So
but
a Joshua 3820 said, "What's up,
you,
cuz?"
yeah,
He said,
Joshua,
"What's
you
up,
were,
cuz?"
yep. That,
And then Clint says, "You guys aren't using the right calls." For the ones
he,
that just joined in, I just want to go ahead and pre-warn you. There's a storm rolling in, so if we just instantly die, it was not because I got tired of talking. It's hard to run with no internet, so um, just letting y'all know if the power goes out or the internet goes out, we might have to reconvene on a different week. But you were talking about feeders, and I know there. Look, earlier there were bucks on the camera. Now look like two does done came in. Oh, look at that.
oh,
I no, that might be the same too, but I don't. That one had definitely a rack. That one looks
he
like he's
did.
got two nubs too. It
Yep.
might have a good year this year for him. But
Mm,
so real quick, just in case we do lose power or internet, I do want to have you back on again to talk about your partnership there. But real quick, get a shout out and give a sneak peek what we might talk about in the next few episodes.
Let's see. We got, y'all hadn't heard Megatoad Outdoors. If y'all haven't heard of them, get on. They got a Facebook. Go check them out. Give them a follow. Of course, if you follow the Midwest Outdoor Dreams page, you'll see me post every day about them. Um, just want to give them a big shout out. Like he said, we'll have an episode coming up. We'll talk about them some more. Pretty cool feeder setup these guys have made, and I think they're gonna go a long way. And then if you want another episode, we got Antler Edge, Hunting 365, Extreme Hunting 365. They've got what they call Lucky Dust, and of course the mineral, and then they got a couple other products as well. So I'll save it for the episode to talk about them. But if y'all haven't checked them out, get over to their Facebook, give them a shout out, and follow if you don't mind.
For sure. Um, just so that you know, I'm not making it up there. So I wanted the other screen to come up. Why did that one come up? Who knows? Technology, man. You try to do something and it just doesn't want to come up. So here's the storm that's rolling in. I'm not making it up. So real quick again before we lose anything, if you're in the southeast tonight is definitely one of them nights that you want to leave your cell phone on for tornado warnings. There's been some pretty bad weather coming out of Mississippi and Arkansas down in this area. So tonight is definitely it's just going to cook up more tonight. So like I said earlier, I don't want to lose any subscribers since I just got out of YouTube jail. But since I have my other page up, um, how can people get in contact with you? Um, I know you're on Facebook and YouTube, so go ahead and get them shout outs on that.
Yeah, Midwest Outdoor Dreams on Facebook. My phone number is actually on there too. My phone's always available. Text, call, whichever. If you're ever interested in like veteran hunts, we're always doing giveaways. So always pay attention to that. Our product partners, they always, donate stuff to us to give away. Um, as far as the veteran hunts, we usually do at the beginning of the year every year. We just do a big nomination. So if anybody all interested in that, but Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube are our biggest, where we're most lively at, I guess you can say. But yeah, my phone number's on the Facebook. If any of you ever interested, want to talk some more, interested in, getting some youth involved and stuff like that. So, like I said, my phone's always on. My door's always open to get anybody, that we bring out to hunt. All the veteran hunts, is always at our expense, comes out of my pocket or the guy's pockets. We want to do that for the veterans and the youth. So, like I say, always open. So don't ever hesitate to give me a shout. Look forward to talking to any of you guys.
Steven Story says he's here, old son.
Oh yeah, he's another Oklahomian.
um, I had a thought there and I lost it. Gray hairs.
Stan.
I had no idea. I was looking at something and then my brain went dead. Oh well, it happens. But how many veterans did y'all take last year?
We took two last year. I'm gonna try. I try to add the very first year, 2020. I took one,
Hmm.
and let me talk about him a little bit. His name's Noble Stanridge, and a buddy of mine, before I did the nomination thing every year,
Hmm.
the very first year, I didn't know how I wanted to select a veteran. Well, I ended up having a buddy of mine knew I was kind of wanting to get into that, and he came to me and he's like, "Hey, look, I got this guy, never been deer hunting in his life. He was an interrogator in the army, so
Mm.
you
He probably
the
seen some stuff.
story. Yeah, you imagine the stories with this guy, and that's what I love about it is being able to sit down with those guys and hear about what they've been through, and and it just it opens your eyes and makes you appreciate so much more. But anyway, Noble never been deer hunting ever in his life, didn't own a crossbow, anything, and I wanted to take him crossbow hunting because bow season's open from October 1st to January 15th, so you have a lot more time range option versus rifles limited to 2 weeks, and then you got muzzleloader 1 week. So he tells me about Noble, so I'm like, yeah. I said, let's do it. And so we set it up, and Noble come out, and the first afternoon, I take him. I got this farm picked out. It's early October. I've got some bucks on pattern, two really nice bucks. And matter of fact, I was hunting some farms with my uncle at the time, so I got to give a big shout out to him because I couldn't have made it happen without him. And took Noble in there. We set up the first afternoon. I told him, I said, these bucks are like clockwork coming to this feeder. It's gonna be good. And we get in there. Some does showed up. And matter of fact, on my YouTube channel is the veteran hunt of the. That's the. If you guys want to check it out, that's Noble. That was the very first veteran hunt I did. And some does came out, and this really nice buck come out, and I just knew that wasn't the buck. I wanted Noble to shoot, but I didn't care. This is his first deer. Whatever he wants to shoot, he shoots. So we're sitting there, and I told him, I said, let's wait a little bit, see if these other bucks can come out. He's over there, dude, shaking. I mean, breathing hard, and I'm like, holy cow, like this dude's gonna have a heart attack in the behind,
I
And
mean, I
finally,
still
you
get
can
them
hear him.
feel. I still get them same feelings too. So I mean,
I do too. The day that I do, I'm hanging it up.
see,
I
it
just
don't make no
that's
sense. What did I say before we came live? I'm like, hey, you say, oh, you got a deer camera? I'm like, yeah, I saw two down there at the pond. That probably come on the camera. But when deer
yep,
season come around, it's like, oh, oh my God, they've been there the whole
yeah,
time. Heck, I ought to name them.
yep.
Then I couldn't hunt them.
So I could tell he's getting anxious, and it's still probably 30, 40 minutes before those other bucks, maybe an hour before those other bucks normally been showing up. And you can finally hear him ask me, he's like, you sure that's not a shooter? And I'm like, if that's the buck you want, we're going to shoot him. Like, He's like, I really like that buck. And then you can hear me say in the camera, all right, we're going to shoot this deer. So then it felt like hour went by before we could ever get this deer to, to turn broadside to us because the whole time he's feeding facing us.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay. Finally turns broadside, he shoots and put the smack down on him. Never, I mean, for somebody that's never shot a crossbow except for maybe 5 times when he came over that before that hunt and shot it a
Mm.
few times, and well, that deer runs off and I seen it crash and we get over there and I know exactly where the deer is and we're looking around, trying to show him the blood track and all that. And he's like, man, and you could tell he's kind of getting discouraged. I'm like, hey, Noble, your deer's right there. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And just, man, the excitement, that right there, that hunt is when I knew exactly this is where I was meant to be,
Yep.
is doing this with him. And it's funny because Noble actually comes out and hunts with me every year now. We pretty much created a big bond together. And I mean, my kids love him to death. And I mean, he pretty much became family. And so that's the guys I strive and pray for every year. And nothing against any veteran that has the access,
Mhm.
that has the opportunity to go hunt all the time. That's great. But every year we do the draw, and I pray to the good Lord, like, give me somebody that, doesn't have that opportunity.
Right.
And we've actually been fortunate enough and had some very good guys come through, and I'm excited about it again this year. Jacob Bolva's here from Oklahoma. They got drawn for the veteran hunt this year, and he's never, I think the biggest deer he's killed is like a little like I'm talking little bitty buck. And so I'm ecstatic because I got a bunch of good deer coming up this year, and I know we're going to blow his mind. When we set him out there on the first set, it's just, he's going to go crazy. And I'm excited about it. And he's excited about it. But no, I don't know. It's just something hard to explain, but after that first hunt with Noble, I mean, I told myself like, this is what I want to do. This is how I want it to go down every time, like this, and it has, unfortunately. And um, we had a guy come out last year. Kevin Pendle was our veteran winner last year, and he's been around hunting some, but he sat on a farm. I set him out on a big wheat field, and he sat there and we were going to come pick him up for lunch, and he texted me. He's like, man, he said, I'm seeing deer. You don't care if I sit all day? I said, no. I said, you're here to hunt. It's your hunt. You do what you want. And he sat on that wheat field and he was faced the wheat field in the morning, watched the deer on the wheat field. They pull off the wheat field and he had a couple draws behind him. And he basically turned his chair 180 degrees and faced the draws during the middle of the day. He said deer were just in and out all day. And he's like, my mind was blown. He said, and he had a couple good bucks out there, and one was probably, he was probably a possible shooter. And he even said, he's like, I don't know why I didn't shoot, but then he said, I was so just happy being out there watching all those deer. And he ended up not shooting a deer with us last year,
Yeah.
and I've invited him back out this year, and I was just shocked, because a lot of guys would have pulled the trigger on some of those bucks.
And that's
And
how my turkey season was this year. Hey, Jeff, welcome back. But yeah, this turkey season, I've never seen so many hens. And I'm talking about like spending hour, 2 hours out in the field just walking around. And it's like,
oh yeah,
I mean, it's amazing to see God's creatures just moving around, especially, stuff that you enjoy watching. I mean, if it was like a rabbit or something, that might be a different story. But something you're out there passionate about, it makes for a world of a pretty much a movie. And I
oh
know
yeah,
what I was
yep,
thinking
no,
earlier when I had the brain fart. You was talking about youth and kids, and that's where I lost my brain fart at. But I say it on the channel all the time. There are so many men, and there are women too, but there are so many men that have so much knowledge that they would take to the grave because they don't share it with our next generation. Like me, I don't consider myself I'm definitely an outdoorsman, but I am not one of these like master buck. I got a little teeny buck hanging on the wall here. But like, I can pour corn out and I can get deer to come, obviously. But there's some men that be like, all right, we got to go this way, and we're looking for this kind of tree, and they just woodsmans, But
Yeah,
there are so many men that just don't pass on that knowledge to the younger generations, and a lot of times they just have that kind of attitude of them whippersnappers. They just make so much noise during duck season. Maybe
you
nobody
got
taught them. Have you ever invited them into your duck blind? Have you ever invited them into your deer stand? I ain't saying give out your sweet spot of your favorite hole or your favorite deer spot by any means, but you can have so much opportunity to meet people, and that's kind of where I've been going lately is, at the boat ramp. We got something in common with people. You got something in common with what you're doing. You're got something in common with deer hunters. We can speak to people where so many people can't or don't have that opportunity. And I think we need to
it.
definitely um, do a better job on that, especially as
We've got,
outdoorsmen.
oh yeah, and we're doing, we've got two youth hunts booked so far, two or maybe three. I know two for sure, and both these kids have never killed a deer before, so I'm pretty ecstatic about that.
I mean, you're gonna
We're
change.
actually,
You literally could change their outcome of what they do as a youth.
oh, by
Like literally, you get a youth to get into turkey hunting and duck hunting, they won't have money for drugs. I mean, they're
oh, by far,
deer hunting the same way. You get them into something like that, they won't have money for drugs because that hobby will take it all.
that is no lie, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
But no, the youth hunts are definitely, I don't know. We do quite a few of them every year.
Mm-hmm.
I have a people that donate their places to shoot does only. They just have a lot of does, which is
Right.
fine. I mean, I'd rather eat a doe than a buck anyway. I mean,
Mhm.
if I'm meat hunting, to be
Right.
honest, because when out here during the rut, these suckers run, and when they
Mm.
run, them bucks are rough at the end, during the rut.
Yeah.
Usually it gets ground up in hamburgers, what it gets ground up in. But
Yeah.
no, the youth, like you said, I love giving back to those kids. We I've had a lot of kids first hunts, and they all are right here in the back of my mind, like it was yesterday. I
Mm.
mean, the look on those kids' faces are priceless. I mean, I have my own kids I take. They've been very fortunate and have killed some decent bucks and killed a lot of deer. And I've they understand, I let them get it out of their system the first couple of years to pretty much shoot whatever came out. Unless it was something I knew was going to be potentially very big that I was like, look, that's dad's deer. Y'all can't do that.
he
But
pulled the dad tax out.
yeah, yeah. But like my boy, Hayden, I've got I've got two boys and one girl of my own, and I got two step girls. And the step girls both have killed a couple good bucks of theirs. My daughter actually, oldest daughter, the oldest stepdaughter, she killed a phenomenal buck last year. Unfortunately, it was a hunt. It was a bittersweet hunt. Rewinding back, our soon-to-be son-in-law passed away last year,
Mm,
last October. He got killed in a car wreck.
mm.
He was on the way to work. Well,
Hate to
we
hear
did some
that.
fundraisers to raise money for his family, and an outfitter out here, a good friend of mine, Rough Creek Outfitters,
Hmm.
uh, donated a hunt to raise money for his family. And anyway, my boss we actually didn't win the hunt, but my boss donated the money and said, "Hey, look, I want to buy Chris and his stepdaughter. I want to buy them a hunt." Basically, put the money towards the donation, donating. So anyway, we got the hunt. So we put in a couple days of hunting with the outfitter. It was kind of nice. we got to kind of pick and choose what days we want to go. Didn't have to go, 4 consecutive days like he normally has guys come in. So, because
Right.
we were actually not live far from where his outfitting service is. So I took her one day up there. We went up there a couple days hunted, didn't get anything. We got the opportunity to run back up there and hunt, and my wife and which is her mom, and I went up there. So I was like, okay, I said, you go with us up there. You go hunt with her this afternoon. We'll kill two birds with one stone. I'll go on my hunt. So I went out on my hunt, and they text me. It wasn't long before dark, and they text me. It's like, there's a big buck here. I'm like, well, why are you telling me? Why are we not shooting him? Shoot him. Ended up shooting him and ended up killing a really good buck. I mean, it was a very good. It was I don't know if you're one of the believers in the Cardinals, the red cardinal.
I talked about
We're
that this past week.
we're a firm believer in it, and there was a red cardinal showed up right before that buck showed up,
Mhm.
and that good boy brought you that buck. I said that's exactly why you killed it,
Yeah,
and
I
so
was
it's
I was talking about birds this week and how birds learn people's faces, and it is unreal how smart birds are and how smart crows are, and that's what they say about the cardinals, and the cardinals are really smart, as in if you feed a cardinal the same food at the same time every day, that cardinal will follow you around. Like, they are super smart birds.
now I'm definitely a firm believer in it,
Yeah.
especially
So that's what
that
they
day.
always said, when you see one, you know, it's always somebody showing up.
No, I agree.
It's always a good thing to, if it's a bird or if it's a hunting something you see, it's always the memories, and that's what I always tell people. Half the stuff is taxidermy, but each one of these have a memory. Like, each one
Oh
has got a different buddy I hunted with or a different story, and you know, I say it a lot of times. You can be hunting with your buddy one season, and the next season they're gone. So you don't take that for granted.
yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, her
Yeah.
Reese was his name. Um, yeah, he was always out helping me and stuff. So I mean, it was definitely rough. Um, that he was a good kid for sure. But I was glad to see that, she got to
Hmm.
kill that buck for him, and we definitely try to do as much as we can honor him because I mean, the outdoors was a big thing to him too. So it was definitely a good deal for sure.
That's right. Well, we've been on
But
for an hour. Anything else you want to talk about?
no, man, I think we did good for one night. Like I said, if you more than welcome to have us back on again. I'd love to talk some more.
Yep.
Um, I feel like it was good. I feel like the people that have been on and people that are going to watch it are going to learn a little bit about us.
Yep.
Like I said, I do say, everybody just make sure you follow the Midwest Outdoor Dreams Facebook, so that way you can pay attention for the giveaways and the veteran hunts and the youth hunts we have come up. Who knows? We might surprise somebody else and add another one in for this season. I feel like we're going to have a good season, so I feel like we may have the opportunity to add another one in. Um, but if you know somebody, like I say, don't hesitate to reach out. My number's on that Midwest Outdoor Dreams page. If you know somebody that's in the need, has a huge desire to want to get out and never been able to get out, please holler at us. And I'd love to be able to try to help in any way we can. If there's anything you guys want to see come from us or whatever moving forward, don't hesitate to, throw us a message. Be like, hey, look, I like to see this from you guys.
Well,
So,
I can tell
but
you what I can tell you what I don't want to see is that right there. Ah, man, it went off the camera. Ah, not the rain. I wanted that big old. I was trying to go to that big old raccoon that was on the screen there. I saw him when you were talking, and I hit the
yeah,
wrong button. Oh,
he knew you were fixing to talk.
yeah, that big old raccoon. That's all right though. I didn't put no corn out there in that corn feeder. He ain't getting no corn for free this time. But yeah.
And if y'all don't know as well, jump over to our YouTube and hit subscribe on that too. We're trying to get it growing. So I'm new to the filming game. Well, I've been filming for quite a while, but I'm still new to the editing game. So bear with me with my kindergarten editing sometimes. Making
That's
it
the
work.
hardest. That's the hardest thing. People think that recording. Oh, anybody can make a YouTube shoot and start
Wow,
editing videos and see how hard that is.
it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. So, uh, as I said last week, since I just came out of YouTube jail, make sure you follow me on my Facebook, RD Reynolds Outdoors, and I'm on Instagram. So if I ever get kicked off YouTube again, you could have another way of following me. But I am currently out of YouTube jail, so I'm glad for that. But like I said earlier, I appreciate Chris coming on tonight. I like to talk to different hunters and learn different stuff. It's not every day that you get to speak to somebody from middle of the country and have a different outcome or a different um, sight of hunting. So we're definitely going to keep in touch. I'm definitely going to get back on when we get something set up for uh, the company there. Um, I know it's something toad. I'm still on an
Me too.
antibiotic. I'm on an antibiotic, so I have excuse this time. The gray
Got that
hair.
big ball.
Yeah, I knew it was toad. I got half of it right. I mean, 50% is just showing up, right?
That's right.
I mean,
You need to and
you know,
tell them
get.
stay. His RD might be in Oklahoma hunting soon too.
Hey, it wouldn't be the first time I drove out there. I just want to see a bear. I
You
don't want
stay
to hunt
loose
no
in
bear.
Oklahoma.
I might come to Oklahoma again, but it ain't gonna be during this time of the season because there's a whole lot of tornadoes going on right now. Not today in Oklahoma, but
Oh, it's
my my name ain't Dorothy, and I don't want to go flying through the air.
May is the month of tornadoes for here.
Yeah, it is definitely going to start becoming tornado season, and I don't like that. And like I said earlier, tonight is the night to keep your devices on in the southeast of Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, probably Tennessee, Alabama, all that. A lot of bad weather, and man, Georgia needs the rain so bad. Hopefully, some of that rain will help with their bad fires. So definitely start watching the weather. If you watch certain weather people, they are already talking about the tropics. And, Oklahoma don't have to worry about hurricane season. But here in South Carolina, we will start talking hurricane season before too much longer because it's already heating up outside. So that's in the future. So, but I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. So y'all definitely go check them out. Hit them up on the YouTube and Facebook. I greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. Like I said, this week has definitely been a crazy week with getting bit by a tick and breaking out with all kind of rashes, and I just want one night of sleep with no sweat. So, and some kind of cool, like I want something cool, like be able to do something with this tick bite. I mean, what does a tick have? They lynch on the things, and then maybe somebody could carry me. Other than that, I don't know what power a tick has. I mean, they have no superpowers other than being fat. Maybe that's what I got going for me. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not fat. I'm just swole up because I got bit by a tick. I'm going to use that. So that's mine.
Say, I'm
So
gonna start.
But the antibiotics seem to be working. But yeah, the antibiotics is pretty tough. So, but I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight, and I appreciate all the subscribers. Chris, I appreciate you coming on. Uh, I'm gonna close this in prayer, and I'll see y'all next week. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for blessing us with the rain. We so need it. There's so many states that need the rain. Be with the first responders that's got to be out in this tonight. Our highway patrol, fire, EMS, communication, power, sewer, all those people that have to be out in it, Lord. Be with them, protect their family, because most of these people are already at home. They're going to have to leave their family to go help others. Be with them. These rural communities are probably all volunteers. Keep them safe. Be with our military as the conflict's going. We don't even know what's going on over there. Keep them safe. Bring them back home. Be with their family. Don't let Satan get in their head and worry about their family while they're over there protecting our freedoms. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for blessing us with the great outdoors that we love to be in. And thank you for sending your son to die on the cross. And thank you for everything you do. Amen. So
Man,
I'll see y'all next week, next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And again, Chris, I appreciate you coming on. And y'all stay safe. And here's a word from our sponsors. I'll see y'all later.
thank you. See y'all later.
Matthew Knight with Satura Investors out of Charlotte. There's the information. The link to his website is scrolling across the banner down at the bottom, and it's also in the description. Today's episode is about helping business owners and working professionals like you who share a passion for the outdoors shooting sports, zeroing them in to their long-term financial goals. So if you need any information or contact or any other questions, contact Matthew. Flint Ridge Hauling Service, LLC, has partnered up with the channel. It is your go-to provider for all your hauling needs. They are not just any hauling service. They are an active DOT interstate hotshot hauling provider. Flint Ridge Service LLC prides itself in its reliable transportation services. This team ensures that your cargo is delivered safely and on time no matter the distance. Whether you need to transport goods across the county or state line, they have the capacity and the expertise to meet your hauling needs. Equipped with a smooth riding 40-foot air ride equipped trailer and a max hauling capacity of 20,000 pounds, there's no load too big or too small that they can't handle. Look no further than Flint Ridge Hauling Service LLC.